Coming up on 5 Minute News. More than 200 Pakistanis among victims of Greece boat wreck. House Republicans derail Biden impeachment as far-right clamors for power. And Narendra Modi denies religious discrimination is a problem in India. It's Friday, June 23. I'm Anthony Davis. At least 209 Pakistanis were among those who lost their lives in the boat wreck off Greece last week, according to data shared by a Pakistani investigative agency. Information provided to the FIA by families of missing passengers known to have boarded the boat that capsized off Greece's coast suggests the death toll may be significantly higher than official figures. Greek authorities say the number of victims stands at 82 and the number of survivors at 104. Pakistan is yet to officially confirm how many of its citizens were on the boat, but kick-started a DNA sampling effort to help Greece identify those migrants who died. Officials gathered DNA samples from 201 families. Hundreds of people of different nationalities, including Egyptians, Syrians and Palestinians, are believed to have been on board the vessel in what is seen as the worst sea disaster in years for the region. Witness accounts suggested that between 400 and 750 people had crammed onto a 65-foot fishing boat, which then capsized and sank early on June 14, about 50 miles from the southern coastal town of Pylos. The FIA said 29 suspected human smugglers had been arrested in Pakistan so far over the case. Meanwhile, 5 men are presumed dead after the Ocean Gate experimental submarine Titan imploded while descending to the wreck of Titanic. Eager to impeach President Joe Biden, hard-right Christian nationalist House Republicans forced a vote on Thursday that sent the matter to congressional committees in a clear demonstration of the challenge Speaker Kevin McCarthy faces in controlling the majority party. The ability of a single lawmaker in the 435-member House to drive an impeachment resolution this week caught Republicans off guard. The measure charges Biden with high crimes and misdemeanors over his handling of the U.S. border with Mexico, despite a significant reduction in crossings since the lifting of Title 42. Representative Lauren Boebert, backed by allies, was seen to use House rules to force a snap vote on such a grave constitutional matter. The 219 to 208 party line vote sent her resolution to committees for possible consideration like any other bill. They are under no obligation to do anything. The episode underscores the hold that the House conservative flank exerts over McCarthy, compelling him to accommodate their hard-right priorities if he wants to stay in power. Conservatives are gearing up for more. The process Boebert employed is the same method that Representative Anna Paulina Luna relied on to force a vote on Wednesday to censure Democratic Representative Adam Schiff over his investigations into Donald Trump's ties to Russia. There is going to be no end to this, Schiff said. Kevin McCarthy has no control over his conference. The race to the extreme is now running the House of Representatives and, of course, is doing terrible damage to the institution. During Thursday's debate, Republicans were admonished multiple times by the presiding officer to tone down their remarks. Democrats argued that the case against Biden made a mockery of the seriousness of impeachment and was merely an attempt to distract from the twice-impeached Donald Trump, the former Republican president now indicted for hoarding classified documents under the Espionage Act. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi denied that discrimination against minorities existed under his government during a press conference with US President Joe Biden yesterday, despite rights groups and State Department reports of abuses. Biden said he discussed human rights and other democratic values with Modi during their talks in the White House. Asked at the press conference what steps he was willing to take to improve the rights of Muslims and other minorities in your country and to uphold free speech, Modi suggested they did not need to be improved. In reports on human rights and religious freedom, the State Department raised concerns over treatment of Muslims, Hindu Dalits, Christians, and other religious minorities in India, while also listing a crackdown on journalists. Rights advocates and dozens of lawmakers from Biden's Democratic Party urged him to raise the issue publicly with Modi, whose Hindu Nationalist Party has held power since 2014. Dozens of protesters gathered near the White House on Thursday. India's need for the US to counter China and the economic ties between the countries make it difficult for Washington to criticize human rights in the world's largest democracy, political analysts said. Biden rolled out the red carpet for Modi yesterday. The only two Muslim women members of the U.S. Congress, Representative Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, along with some other progressive lawmakers like Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, boycotted Modi's address to the Congress on Thursday, citing allegations of abuse of Indian dissidents and minorities, especially Muslims. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders said Modi's aggressive Hindu nationalism has left little space for India's religious minorities. 5 Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.